Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, depending on where you are. All-time gentleman here for a second to last video on handwriting repair. I would say sorry I haven't updated this course in so long, but I'm not going to because I'm not a girl. So here, we're just going to get started now. What I will be looking for today is just the uppercase letters in both Spencerian and Palmer script. The thing you have to know about uppercase, there are three things that I think are important. The first thing is uppercase letters are really what's going to make your writing stand out. So if you only do the minuscules right, it's going to look cute, you're going to have a cute writing and stuff, but once you get a massive uppercase letter, beautiful flourished uppercase, it's really going to blow people's minds. A second thing you want to know about it is that in both Spencerian and Palmer scripts there are a few exceptions, but I don't use them. The uppercase does not link to the rest of the word. What I mean is, you've probably been taught, so let's say, so you write a B, and then you connect it to the rest of the word. That doesn't happen in either Spencerian or Palmer method. So what you're going to do in the end is just write your B, and then start the rest of the word close to it, but not connected. That's one thing you gotta remember, because then what you can do is just make loads of flourishes on that B, and it doesn't matter because in the end you don't have to connect it with the rest of the word. So once you've got that really flourished B, you can start anywhere you want. One last thing is that overall I'd say uppercase letters are not as technical as lowercase are. So just try to remember that when you actually start writing, and we are soon going to see this why, because there's a lot less of that stroke thing we saw last time. I don't know if you remember, but there were like different strokes, this one, and then that doesn't really happen with uppercase. You've got like these really nice flourishes, you've got to use your arm to move around to get some really nice rounds and stuff, but I would say that kind of stuff where you have to calculate every last one of your stroke, it doesn't really happen as much. So we're going to start now by looking at, ironically, we're going to look at a few strokes that are used quite often in uppercase letters. The first one is the one I call the stem because it looks like a stem. It's this one. Right? So you've got your slant like this, and it's kind of starting with the slant just a bit on the left, and then you get to the slant, then you follow it, and then you leave again. It's one that's really hard to get right, and I still don't think I do, but it's one that you're going to see in a lot of letters. So from A, for example, to even B, to be honest, and then P, you know, P or R, they all use that kind of stem to start the letter. It's something you really have to work on, and that's why I'm going to give you another drill exercise, because I know everyone loves drill exercises. So basically you've got your slant kind of like this. In that drill exercise, what you're going to do is you're going to start by making that stem. So let's make this. Oh, there you go. You get that stem. You go back up. That kind of going back up is used in most of the letters that use the stem, you know. You mostly do that kind of shape. Anyway, you go back up, straight across, move up so you can start, you can see you're starting again at the majuscule line here, and then go back down again and do another stem. Curl back horizontally, go back up, and then start another stem. And like this. I would say for this drill exercise, going really quickly, as we learned with the other drill exercises, so the eye exercise, if you remember last video, that's not as important. Why? Because when you do uppercase letters, because they are what really makes your writing stand out, you don't have to do that as quickly as you would minuscule. So take your time to just make this really beautifully curved shapes. And here you go. Two other strokes that are really used in these majuscules are this one and this one. It's basically the ones we saw for the L. I don't know if you remember. It's this one where you have to make it look like it's round, but it's not actually. It's just you curl back. Let's make another slant. So you start here, curl back, and then go with the slant. And that's kind of this, but extended. So you really do like this and this. These, you can see them in both way around. And they're going to help you with your flourishing as well. I would say don't worry too much about it though. What you're really going to have to get right, sorry I bumped the camera, what you're going to have to get right for majuscules are round shapes, which are incredibly hard for absolutely no reason. So one drill exercise that's really useful is just making a round shape over and over again. So you go like this. Try to use your arm as you go, and just use your wrist and fingers. Just give it that small bump so it looks a lot rounder. And just go like this, over and over and over. And of course you want to be able to do it the other way around as well. This is really used for flourishes, so to make writing your writing look pretty. Okay. So now you've basically got everything you need to know. What we're going to go through now is go through the actual alphabet. Yeah, so you've got, let me first make the baseline and majuscule line. The A, as I said, the stem. I'm not actually following my excite. Let's try that again. Boom. Okay. Hey, you've got the stem, and then the curl. As we said, you use a lot of curls, and then that's basically the end of the normal A. And then you have a shape which usually Spencer would do like this. So it ends up vertically. You know, perpendicular to your baseline, you know. What I usually do though is I make it go kind of parallel to that stem, and then you have to cross your A, and there are tons of ways of doing it. There's this one, and one I usually use is this one. So you've got your A here. It's just, once you've done that stroke, go back up and to the left, get a nice round shape, and then back down, and then get it over and out of the way so you can write the rest of the word. So either like this, or I usually do like this, just get it to dive down next to its foot here, then dive like this so you can start the rest of the word. Another A that's used in both Spencerian and Palmer method that I don't like is this one. It just looks like a massive A, basically. It's really cool if you can get nice flourishes, if you've got an oblique pen holder. Why? Because you get that kind of thick line here, another thick line here, and then you get nice flourishes all around. Unfortunately, we can't really get that thick line with a normal fountain pen, so you can't really get any flourishes, or it ends up not looking like an A. So I don't use this one at all, but you can learn it. If you like it, you can use it. Let's go on to B. B is basically the same stem, curl back, and then have that top bit which starts like this, goes away in a nice round shape. This is over the middle. I'd say the middle of the stem is kind of there. You have to make this round smaller than the second round, and then you can finish the round whichever way you like. I've seen some people finish it here, or what I usually do, because I find both of these awkward, is just make nice flourishes, so it takes the eye away from that kind of area. So I just do it like this, right? C, what you usually are taught is this one, which I found to be bland. So what I like about Spencerian script is the way it starts actually at the baseline. So you start at the baseline and do the exact same shape. I think it looks a little cooler. It doesn't really matter, whatever you feel like. D is basically the Disney D. I don't know if you can see, so I'm going to get another paper. The Disney D, so you've got your stem again, then you get a curve back. If you remember last time with a minuscule, I said when you curl back like this, it's got to be hidden almost like a dot. You remember for the O, for example, you get like a dot going up. That doesn't happen with majuscule, because they're meant to be huge. So even the smallest of curves, you're really going to notice. And then you can end it whichever way you want. The important thing is that it's got to end going down. So you can end it like this, or this. Or another one I've seen which I like is this one. Curl, and then go back, and then go through the loop, like this. And either like this, or these are perfectly acceptable. The basic shape for the E is this one. So there are many variations of this. Again, you can either do this one, which most people are taught. So you can see the Latin E here. Or you can go like this, which is the Spencerian script method of doing it, with that completely useless and really hard to get right curve here. But I usually just like to do the simple one and then add some flourishes here. F is a lot like T. Now you start by doing what is a horizontal line, except that the Spencerian script adds this, again, completely useless loop here. But this time I find it quite beautiful. And then going from there, you're going to get your stem here. That's a T. Some people do it like this, where you curve back, so you end up doing it in one stroke. There's absolutely no difference. And for an F, you just get that nice curl out. Here you go. J or G, I can never remember. That's G, right? A, B, C, G, G. You go like this. One thing about G you've got to remember is you've got to be able to see the Latin G. So the Latin G, like print G, looks like this. You've got to be able to see it in the way you write. So here it's there. But I always find that calligraphers, even me, we usually hide that kind of G here. One thing Palmer does is when you've got your baseline here, he just fits the whole letter over that baseline here. So what it does is you have to concentrate on that part of the G. What I usually do is just make that kind of curl back very prominent. And then here you go. H. One thing about H is there's two ways of doing it. There's this Pensurian which I use, which is like this, and this kind of here, I don't want to circle it with my pen, but this here, this is how Palmer does it, and you're gonna see it once I remember K. That's it. K also has the exact same thing, where the massive difference between Palmer and Spencer is just that stroke. So here you have a J, H. I use the same curl back as with an A, but again you can either do like this or like this. Same for the Palmer H. And so the K, your K basically is going to be either this or this. We're going to see this soon. I and J we're going to leave till the end because they're complicated letters to get right. K we've seen. L, you're usually told this. Basically that's the same thing. What really matters with L is these two strokes, again the Latin strokes, because an L in Latin looks like this, just like this. So you can even do this, that's also an acceptable L, because you've still got these two basic shapes. M, it's either this one, if you can get it right, it's a beautiful letter, but I cannot get that right, so what I do is I use the Spencerian M, which is this one. And he uses that stroke we saw a few minutes ago, this one. You know, the kind of curling back with the slant, curling back with the slant, curling back with the slant, and then go forward. Once you get to the down, go forward. N is basically half an M, so either like this or like this. O, I'm sorry, there's just no other way of doing an O. Here you go. A stem for the P. As we saw, you're just going to put like a mushroom on top of it. Q is really weird, as always. Like this. Why? Basically because you've got to have that Latin Q again, which is this one. Which you've got here just hidden, kind of hidden there, and the stem going from it. A beautiful way to make that stem go be kind of obvious is to have it go down quite a lot and then curl back, and you can get some really nice Q. Obviously you're not going to use it a lot unless you're Spanish. R is basically P, then you curl back and you do, you know, just that. S is an odd letter to write. It's also really good for calligraphers because there's loads of ways you can do flourishes. Basically the thing that matters with an S is this. And that's actually one of the copperplate ways of doing an S. It's just like this. Anything else is flourishes. So what we usually do is start at the baseline, go up like this, have your S shape, and then just round to finish it up. You've got people that start with the top. That's how I use it on my signature. And then again you can do loads of nice flourishes at the bottom of the S. T we've seen already, it's basically an F. I don't know if you can actually see what I was writing just now. Yes you can. Just turn this over. T, we saw it. It's right. U and V. You get that nice shape we said. You curl back like this. It's basically the same as a minuscule U. You know, there's no real difference. It's just massive. V is the same basically. They're both kind of odd letters to get right. And I don't know if your name is like Victoria or something, but your life is really, really hard because these two letters are hard to get right. W. W is just odd. It's that one. The way Palmer does it, which I find beautiful, is just curl back, just like the beginning of an H, and go down. Then you're gonna try and be parallel-ish to that stroke. So go back up like this, and then you've gotta be mirrored, so as if there was a mirror up here, you know. So you actually go the other way around, and then you parallel to that third stroke. It's really hard to explain. Basically, you've got this, and then you've got this, which are two V's the other way around. Do you know what I mean? And you just repeat them. Put them one next to the other, and you get your W. X. The problem with X in all methods I've seen is that you do it like this, basically. Like this, and then like this. The problem with that is that you've got to aim right to get the two strokes to meet perfectly at the middle. What I usually end up doing when I write quickly is either they go over or they go really far away from each other, and it just looks like an H. So what I actually do is this. So basically use the top of that stroke, bottom of that stroke in one, and then cross it with a stemish like figure, or just cross it like this. Anyway, I don't think anyone's ever gonna use this one unless your first name is something really odd like Xeni or something like that. Y is just like the minuscule Y. Exactly the same, just massive. It's really nice Y because you get loads of flourishes here. Z is the same. So as you would a minuscule, except you make it massive. And here you go. You've got pretty much all of them. I'm gonna ask for the other one. I'm gonna rewrite all of them. This time I'm gonna try to use a slant because last time people told me that I didn't use a slant while going over them, so it didn't really act as a guide. It's slant-ish, you know. We're not looking at really perfect slants. I think your minuscules matter more in that kind of thing. A. Oh, let me do the other A. Here. It's a lot quicker to write if you want to write really quickly. This one's really easy to get right. B. One thing about the B, there are methods of handwriting that use this to make it quicker. So basically it's all done in one stroke. Go down, up. And Spencer was a fan of this one. Why? Because he said basically if you can do the work another penman does twice as fast, you should get paid twice as much money. So he would say use this one, it's quicker, you get paid more. I use this one because it's more beautiful and I don't actually get paid for anything. C or C, D or D or D, D or D or D, E. I'm just going to use this one. This one is beautiful as well. It's just a lot more blunt because everyone uses this now. F, G, H, I and J we're going to look at the very end of the session because I forgot about them and now I'll gotta go through them. K, L, you can see ish that what really matters when you're looking at slant, because I forgot to go over them. What really matters is the stem, because really most of the letter have a stem here that you've got to try. It's this one. Try and get with the slant. So my slant is a bit more like this. M or M, or another one, which if you can follow it. Right, N. That one is really good because you can get some nice flourishes on top, and that one is really good because you can get some nice flourishes on the bottom, so it depends which way you want to go. O, P. Again, there's that P here, which saves you some time if you want to get paid loads of money. Q. Again, long stroke down. R. Again, if you want to save money. S. T. Yeah. U. I'm checking you can actually see me right. V. And finally W. X or X. Y. You can start what the poem method teaches you is to start the Y. You can see this is my baseline, so not like a real Y, it doesn't go under the baseline, it stays on top of it. I don't personally do that because I got the bad habit of just doing it like this, and it looks gorgeous as well, so whatever you want. Now let's go through I and J. 3 ways of doing it. The poem method, which is wrong. Once you get your baseline here, poem method, it's wrong. It goes like this. Can you guess which one it is? It's an I. Does it look like an I? No, it looks like a J. This is a J. Is there any difference though? No. So don't use it. Spencerian way is this one. That's I, and that's J. And you can start seeing, because you don't have that curve here, which is odd to see, actually the poem method does like this. More like this, yeah. Because you don't have that curve here, it doesn't look like a J, it looks like an I. And if you can even just go lightly on the stroke up and then a lot more, just press your hand down a lot more and stroke down, it'll look a lot more like an I. J, because it goes under the baseline, it looks like a J. But one I also like to do is the copperplate one. We're not looking at copperplate because it's not actually a handwriting script. It's a lot more like drawing letters and it takes a long time. It's this one. Wait, no, that's not right. It's this one. Get a stem. So you get your stem, and then you're going to get that really weird thing going on here, where you go from over the stem, down, and then curve back up. That's an I, and the J will be a lot longer, but basically the same thing. Try to see if you can get any of these ones to be readable. I think most of my I's just looks like J, so you gotta look into the context, which is a problem because obviously the English language uses capital I a lot. So yeah, basically that's it. Now we've got the alphabet down, and what we'll look at next time is flourishes, how to do them, how to make them pretty, numbers, and then all the stuff that's not in there. So anything from accents to periods to stuff like this. I'm saying this in a really vague way because I still haven't drafted out what I'm actually going to teach in that course. So we'll see you like next time with hopefully a bit more plan. Cheers.